Okay, in this particular teaching about the intuitive gifts that are being activated in your own personal DNA at levels that you have never seen before in your entire life, and it's really impacted by the DNA activation, your genetics really opening up more, providing you more insight, intuitive insight. I keep being told that our intuitive psychic abilities are going to be expanding and awakening at levels never before have we even been able to guess of this great potential that we're going to have. So today I'm going to be sharing with you about claircognizance, which is clear knowing. It is one of the highest forms of intuitive ability, and it is the least appreciated. Hi, my name is Nancy Rebecca. If you are new to my channel, you just might want to hit that subscribe button and that little bell that says all so that you can continue to receive in this intuitive series all the different ways that you may find that your own intuition is awakening. So, have you ever just known something about without any explanation or logical reasoning? Well, today we're going to be talking about that fascinating realm of claircognizance, that intuitive knowing that arises seemingly out of nowhere, kind of like a warning or a sudden flash of insight in an inexplicable aha moment of wow, I have a sense I know what's going on kind of moment. Claircognizance, clear knowing, is an inner compass which guides you through your decisions, illuminates your path with certainty that can feel both mysterious and profound. Throughout our talk today, I'm going to dive into the many ways that this inner knowing can manifest in your life, how to recognize it when it occurs, and why trusting your inner knowing is really empowering for you, especially during this great time of awakening change. And it helps you to align with your life in a way that's really authentic with your true self when reasons behind it can remain shrouded in mystery. So let's begin first by trying to understand what claircognizance is. So what I will tell you is that claircognizance comes from this area where it is not limited by the body, the limitations of the mind, the limitations of emotions or hearing. It's not limited at all. And so I invite you, as you're listening, to kind of rise up, kind of imagine and pretend that you're floating up to just above your head where your knowingness is the strongest. Let's see. I'm trying to see where I dropped off in my words. Okay, so let's begin by understanding that what claircognizance really is. It is at its core the ability to know something instinctively without the aid of conscious reasoning and or external evidence. So unlike learning through the five senses with logical deduction of what is it, sight, taste, smell, sound, and feel, this knowing comes directly from within, almost as if a quiet voice in your mind delivers the truth in a flash. But it's not words. It's you just I just know this is a truth. Have you ever said that? I just know this is a truth, but I don't know how I know this is a truth, but I know it's a truth so much that I'm willing to lay my life on the line. I'm really ready to put my reputation on the line because I know this is so true. And these profound certainty that guide you during moments of decision, and many describe it as a gentle yet insistent whisper of inner wisdom, and sometimes it's not so gentle and it's not so quiet. It's a form of knowledge that just is. Just stating the facts, ma'am. That's what I think about knowing this. I'm just stating the facts without needing to be questioned or explained. There are many different ways that people experience claircognizance, and sometimes these experiences are subtle enough that you don't even realize that you're tapping into this intuitive ability. And for some, claircognizance appears as an immediate mental flash, which can be really confusing. It's like, oh, I wish if I had $1 for every time someone said, how do I know it's my mind and how do I know it's my intuition? How do I know it's my mind? How do I know it's my imagination? How do I know that it's my intuition? It's like you just have to know. And I know that's not helpful. And it's like with feeling and knowing is probably this ability that 100% of the population knows. They have a strong sense of knowing. So many describe it as an insistent whisper of inner wisdom. Okay, so there are many different ways people experience claircognizance, and sometimes it's subtle. And you might feel like you have a thought or an idea simply emerges with clarity. This is the other thing about knowingness. It's usually not vague. It's not usually kind of sort of. So I was making a video and I'm on the blue light galactic wave of light that's coming in. And I said, I was writing up this material that I was going to talk about. And I said, it just might be possible. So this is what I was going to say. It just might be possible that there's a blue galactic wave of light coming in to expand consciousness on Earth. Well, my knowingness said, strike that might, strike that maybe, strike that probable or possible. It is. There is a blue wave of light coming in to expand consciousness on Earth. So my knowingness would not let me get away with being vague. So knowingness is not vague, okay? Knowingness is straightforward, and it's with a knowing that the right word to say, it'll come up with that right word to say in a difficult conversation, a feeling that's unshakable. This is another word that's about knowingness. It is unshakable. I call it when I can feel it in my bones. That's that knowingness, even though I may have absolutely no data, no scientific data, no way to prove it, but I just know that it's true. Others may experience as an overwhelming certainty, a deep-seated feeling that something is true and that a particular path is the right path to make, even when the facts suggest otherwise. So I have a questionnaire. It's called an intuitive style questionnaire, and you can get it through my website. You just look at the intuitivemind.org in the upper bar. It'll say teaching, and you click on that, and I have a little video series as well as this questionnaire. So I was teaching a class in Canada, and everyone took the study to see kind of what their intuitive style was. They were very excited about it. One woman was greatly disappointed. And she was disappointed because she said she got low numbers, 0 numbers, like, I don't hear anything, I don't feel anything, I don't see anything, I don't know anything. And she was very frustrated because she works as a healer. She was a very good healer. She did healing touch and Reiki, hands-on healing. And so when I was talking to her about it, I was asking about, how do you navigate through life? Like, do you get a sense about which way to go? And she's like, no, I'm oblivious. I'm oblivious to which way I'm going. But she said, I always end up at the right place at the right time. I always end up at the right place at the right time. So on some level, she is listening to her knowingness, but it's not that slow. So one of the ways that you can work with a knowingness in a fast way where you're at the right place at the right time. Well, maybe not at the right place at the right time. You're in the forest and now you see a cougar or a bear or a wolf or something like that. And you either, something tells you to lie on the ground and play dead, or something tells you to walk slowly. You're going to turn this way, you're going to turn that way, you're going to turn this way, you're going to turn that way. Like you have a sense about where you need to go to get out of danger. That's your clear knowing. Your spirit is helping you to navigate yourself back into safety from that clear knowing. So even though you may be listening to this and you're like, I don't have an intuitive or psychic bone in my body, but I do, my life turns out pretty good. I've made some really great decisions. That is your knowingness. You just might not be consciously aware of every time you have an intuitive knowing guiding you in a particular way. So I talk at landing at the right place at the right time is your inner knowing. And a deep-seated feeling that something is true and that a particular path is right. And that's the thing about knowingness. It's pure truth. And intuitive knowing sometimes can come with sensations. So you'll have a knowingness and then it'll come with a feeling. Someone had said, how do I know if it's my voice I'm hearing or my higher self's voice? So I would say it'll come with a knowing. And when it's your spirit, it can be like a warmth, a loving warmth in your heart or something like that. If it's your mind, often it's a little more contracted and it might have a coolness to it, an intuitive temperature to it. So you might have a physical sense, or you might hear a word. So I talked about this in another video, but I was sitting with something that I felt unsettled about. And I was trying not to let it consume me. Like I was trying not to let myself live there because something had really saddened me. And then it was just like within a moment or two, I felt this overwhelming flood of, it could be love, it could be bliss, but it was this kind of knowingness of pure beauty. And in this knowingness of pure beauty, it was almost like all the cells in my body felt beautiful. I felt beautiful. The messy room I was sitting in felt beautiful. My thoughts about, what I was going to do the next day felt beautiful. Like everything felt beautiful. But how do you describe beauty, right? But I had this knowingness that it felt beautiful. It was beauty. I had a knowing that it was beauty. And then I hear the words, this is the blue light. This is what you're going to be experiencing, not only just now, but over the next several years. And I was like, so it came with a voice. Now, I don't know if you can hear that, but I heard a motorcycle go by and now there's a helicopter. So hopefully it's not interfering with our little talk here. All right, so it's easy to overlook those moments of inner knowing because they seem to defy normal understanding of how a decision could possibly be made. And we are living in a very fast-paced, logic-driven world where a sudden flash of insight can be easily dismissed as random, right? So I'm sharing that with you so that when you have that sense of knowingness, you want to slow down just a little bit, because when it's going that fast, or you want to think about it later, your rational mind takes over. It tries to start to wrap it up in doubt. You might interpret it as, oh, that was a lucky guess, or a subconscious guess rather than a deep intuitive knowing. So we can tend to discount things. So claircognizance, clear knowing, appears in forms like a reoccurring thought. It can hover at the edge of your awareness, like, I'm just kind of bugged by something. I'm just bugged. And so it can be followed up with an image or a phrase, like how many of you see numbers like 1111 or 333 or 444, or different combinations of numbers that add up to spiritual numbers that add up to like a 7, or a master number like an 11 or a 33. These can be ways that you've got the knowingness, but your spirit drops these little hints for you. You see a bus going by, it's a Nike sign, says just do it. During a time when you're struggling to make a decision, your knowingness is telling you, but you're struggling. Maybe a billboard goes by. So those things can happen with your knowingness. It can come along with a secondary imprint to help you along. And it's the mental recognition of truth that's the biggest that comes with the knowingness. So and the challenge with claircognizance, again, is learning how to trust that it really, truly, truly is your inner guidance, where you can just say, I just knew something, and the circumstances around it. You can be supported by building your clear knowing by really creating those quiet moments. Or if you get this impression, it's like, I have a sense. Have you ever been talking to a friend? It's like I'll say, I have a sense about something, about what you're talking about. Would you mind if I shared it with you? It wasn't a vision, it wasn't a hearing, it wasn't a feeling. It was just an intuitive sense. So to me, that's how I describe my knowingness. And so we are cluttered with constant external stimulation. We must create meditative time, self-reflective time to allow our knowingness to come to the surface, because it can be so easy to miss that quiet voice of intuition. Now, there was a situation that happened, it was about 10 years ago, and I had a friend visiting, and we had gone to the store, and I picked up some groceries. And so we had the trunk of the car open. I was pulling out the grocery sacks, and we were both kind of loading up. And there was this particular man came over to introduce himself. He was new in the neighborhood. He pointed to his house that he had just purchased. He was living there. He was really excited. He seemed like really super friendly and very engaging and very supportive. He even offered to help carry the groceries. But here's the thing, because of my clairvoyance, I could see images in his aura. And the images were, how do I want to say this? What word do I want to use? Well, it was pornography. So I don't know how to say it any other word. I could see images of pornography in his field, and there's no big deal. If someone has this healthy lifestyle of pornography, that's their business. But for me, I was seeing these flashes of light, and I'm like, okay, I got to get my groceries and start heading down. So I told my friend, I'm heading to the house with the groceries, so I'll see you in a minute. And she thought he was very nice, and she kept talking to him. Well, she gets back to the house, and she comes into the house, and she goes, that guy was super nice, but he had a high creep factor. And I just started laughing. So for me, I could see the images. For her, she couldn't see images. She didn't feel anything. She just had a knowingness that had that spidey sense, where you get these kind of goosebumps that it's like, no, I think I'll just head on out right now. Nope, I don't need help with my groceries. And so when someone's energy field, their auric field, is full of maybe sexual images, it's like if your field is full of sexual images, you just meditate, you just rinse gold through it, and it'll clear it on out. But if you're not clearing it out and you have this buildup, people can pick this up. You could be the nicest person on the face of the planet, but they'll say there's something off, and that's where that knowingness can really come in. So there is a social aspect to clear knowing that's worth exploring, where you can experience moments where you just knew something about the other person without concrete evidence. And that would have been a really great example. And perhaps, yeah, you met someone you immediately sensed that they were either trustworthy, or conversely, you might feel that they don't have their best interest at heart. And I did not feel this about this new neighbor. He was definitely very nice. We could, probably socially share a cup of coffee, but there were certain elements to it that just made it uncomfortable for us. So I already told you the story about, oh, and in these moments of deep stress and life altering decisions that are going on right now, claircognizance can be a stabilizing force. So just like I said, where I was saddened about something that I heard in the news, um, and I let myself kind of sit with it for a while. But then that beauty came through, that other frequency came through, and that knowingness. It's like everything's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. And so we really want to tap into our inner knowingness during these turbulent times that we're living in on Earth. Uh, so thanks for your patience with my multiple notes, because I want to make sure I cover all these things. So, this kind of intuitive knowing really feels like a lifeline. It's a silent assurance. You know what? It's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. That you can tap into that deeper knowing of truth. But if I'm honest, I will still say, I know, I know everything's going to be all right for me. I know everything's going to be all right. But then there's this other sense, where that little voice will say, oh, you're just being Pollyannish. Oh, you're just trying to be, optimistic, oh, you've got rose colored glasses on. So even after 30 years, I can still have that come to the surface, where it's like, are you being blind to what's in front of you? And so it's really important to listen to all of those things. Go with the knowingness, but also listen to those other signals, so that you can really allow yourself to go deep in your intuitive insights that are coming to the surface. So just know that claircognizance is a gift. It is a powerful, powerful tool that every single person on the earth um, they have this knowingness about them. And I would think even animals, right? That they have a knowingness that either you're safe or you're not safe. They need to run, or they're going to walk up to you. I think animals have that really strong sense of knowing. They can read the frequency of your energy field. And babies and kids, what do we say about dogs, right? Or cats? Sometimes they can just sense things. I mean, they definitely can be hungry and tired, need to be changed, but it's like, pay attention and support, your child if they're being sensitive to a knowingness that they can't explain. Let's see here. So remember, claircognizance is a gift. And this is a way that you can start to embrace your knowingness, intuitive, holistic, deep, personal sensations, to recognize these true moments of inner clarity. And so, yep, create those times to meditate, to get really quiet. If you have that sense, it's like, I have a hunch about something, then just let yourself sit with that quietly. Follow it through. Let your spirit help kind of guide you to follow it through, because it's going to help you trust your own inner instincts. It's going to help you to become more truthful, more authentic in how you engage with life, and really help smooth and add a steady consistency to your bright navigation system. Yeah, these are exciting times. And so even if you've never felt intuitive before, it's happening. It's happening, and it's going to happen for you as well. And if you've already been highly, highly intuitive, your intuition, your psychic ability is going to a whole nother level. So I look forward to sharing that with you, and I look forward to seeing you in the next intuitive video. All right, take care, everyone. Bye-bye.